Hello guys, my name is Yang. I just did my first 200 miler, the Mammoth 200, a couple months ago. I went into the race with a goal to finish in 72 hours and end up finish in 102 hours. So this video I want to talk about what I learned from my first 200 miler experience and what I would do differently if I do it next time. So first, the thermal regulation probably is my biggest mistake for this race. So getting into the race, on my body, I have a t-shirt, a sleeve cover, where I starting the race. In my backpack, I have a long sleeve shirt with hat. Also, I have windbreaker, a John G rain jacket. So my understanding is those three combination. At max, I can have 3 layers on me. I think that should be fun, but that probably is my biggest mistake. So at night one, I got hypothermia going into Green Church, so which is very exposed, windy, and cold. Many runners getting into Green Church, they are shivering, having symptoms in hypothermia. If I go back to look at my symptom at the first night, so I have shivering, so confusion, yes. Slurred speech, yes. Drowsiness, so feeling very tired, weak, sleepy. Yes, I think a little bit. Pale, cold skin, not quite sure. Shallow breath, yes. So hypothermia is a very dangerous situation. I experienced the same where I was doing the run, I think the second time. So basically I have all my 3 layers on, I still feel cold. So then I realized I made a big mistake by not taking my insulation layer with me. The reason I'm thinking the 3 layer would be okay because I did the Shapey back in 2024, minus 20 degrees Celsius, it's windy, cold. But one thing I missed is the intensity. So during a 200 miler, the intensity is always not that high. So during the Shapey for 40 miles, so I was working really hard. So my body can generate heat pretty efficiently. Though I think the last 2 legs, I still wear this down jacket to run to the finish. I was sweating inside. But this time it's different. The cold in first night, it's just brutal. When you got hypothermia, during the daytime, you are more likely getting hyperthermia. I think for 100 miler or 100K, so you may be able to tough through if you don't have enough warm gear, so you can work harder if you are a fast 100 miler runner. But 200 miler, I don't think so. You are definitely going longer and the effort is lower. So that's what happened after Green Church. From Green Church to Sawmill Meadows, right after hypothermia, I got hyperthermia. So I was having dehydration, run out of water, and had to ask the other runners pacer for share some water, and also ask people just running up to the trail to give me some drink. By the time I get to Sawmill Meadows, like my face is pale. It was brutal. So I feel like I'm getting a heat stroke. Let me check the symptom of hyperthermia. Yeah, this is a symptom for hyperthermia. I don't think I have heavy sweating, but I definitely pale. Muscle cramps, no. So weakness, tiredness, definitely you are in like 70-80 miles into the race. Dizziness, yes. Fainting, yes. Headache a little bit. Nausea, vomiting. So rapid pause breathing, yes. So my breathing was fast. Yeah, so basically what I did, well, I think I'm getting a heat exhaustion. So I drink many electrolyte drink at Sawmill Meadow, slow down, cool off, and ask other runners for help. The rest days are kind of a repeat. So I feel like the hyperthermia and hypothermia accumulate each other day after day. And thanks again for Hillary, the race director. She heard at Green Church my insulation layer is at the finish. So she asked a volunteer bring the finish back to Liwanning. So basically I have an insulation layer after Liwanning. That insulation layer, I use my wife's down jacket. It's just that jacket, it's smaller, it's lighter. Yeah, I do have a thicker or better insulation layer, so I can use, which is heavier, but it's fine. After the second night, getting into the third day morning, when I get to Crater Mountain aid station. When I get to the aid station, my body cannot stop shivering. Probably my body temperature was too low, so basically try to wake myself up. Right before the Crater Mountain aid station, I slept at the Crooked Meadows aid station. It's a sleep station, but only has a tent. So I was shivering. Myself shivering woke me up. So that's how cold in that sleep station. I also see people like sleeping on the ground. Definitely, you can see how cold people is feeling at that aid station. 200 miles, they are already very, very long and very, very hard. Where you're adding all the stress from the hyperthermia and hypothermia, your mind wandering into a different place and you don't want to be there. I would say prepare your warm gears so at least you're not getting hypothermia at night. During the day, so hydrate, keep yourself cool. Yeah, bring more warm gears and practice using it. So that's my experience, like either too hot or either too cold. Day 4 from Grand Lake to Dream Mountain. So I can feel like the last second you are feeling really, really hot. It's burning hot. Now getting into the shade, you feel cold, almost begin to shivering. Yeah, that's how extreme my body feel during the race. The second thing I want to do differently is nutrition. So my body begin to swollen at the 3rd day of the race. So I went into the Crater Mountain aid station. So body was shivering. Then I took out my phone, take a selfie. Okay, oh, I'm swollen. I think probably it's the salt intake is too much. So I brought about, I think 100 salt stick, salt capsule with me across the whole race. I probably took 80 to 90 of those. And also for the race using the nanosecond gel. So each gel has about 200 milligram sodium in it. I probably took around 50 or more during the race. Yeah, so average salt intake, I'm probably looking at 500 milligram per hour. I think this is reasonable in a 100 miler or 100K during like cold condition or just mild temperature condition. So, but it's probably too high for a 200 miler. So I think, so even though the Crater Mountain aid station medic and all their medic teams think I'm undersalted, I was still thinking the swelling is causing by overtook of the sodium. One reason I'm saying that because I actually reduced the sodium intake at the later part of the race a little bit. Then I was still swollen a few days after the race. So I bought a cheap urine test case from Amazon. So basically I test my urine every day. It took me about 3 days after the race for my urine sodium level to go back to normal. Like was very high the first day I tested. Then second day is also high, but a little bit lower. Third day is high. Yeah, so it takes that much long time for my body to get all those sodium out. After 2 weeks of the race, I did the blood work. I didn't do the blood work for testing my blood sodium. It's just a time for my annual physical. One test of the blood work is blood sodium, so my blood sodium was normal. If I do it differently next time, I'm probably dial down my sodium intake, especially at night. Yeah, at night if you are not feeling sweating that much, so probably reduce to maybe 300 grams or maybe even less. During the race, I was taking the salt capsule, also the gel with sodium. All the food you have at each station, they have sodium. Also the salty chips. You need to understand your own body. Maybe your body is different. By the way, I did use the NICS cell sensor to test my sweat sodium rate. So it gave me like average maybe 600 milligram. Yeah, but I never getting into a race, except marathon. Marathon is different. But I never getting into a race that really took like 3 salt capsule per hour. For Black Canyon, I took about 2 salt capsule per hour. Then during the very hot part of the day, I took about 3. Yeah, I probably can do more for Black Canyon. It's just because the race, the nature of the race is 100K, you are pushing really hard and it's hard. But 200 mile, you really need to think your nutrition, hydration differently than 100 miler. So next is gear management. So I don't think I train less than most of people getting into the race. I was doing over 90 miles per week, weeks, probably continued 4 or 5 weeks heading into the race. But one thing I didn't train enough is the gear management. And I didn't realize how much time it's going to cost me just trying to change gears. So like later into the race, like day 3, day 4, when you try to switch between the cold gear into a warm gear, like sun is up, you want to take off your headlamp, belt light, the belt, holding the belt light, the insulation layer. So take all those off, put it into your bag. So that action took me about 20 minutes on the side of a trail. So that's how much to take just for me to try to organize my gear. That's a lot of time. Yeah, I think to practice the gear you want to use, think about, okay, where I need to put my pole if I don't use it. How can I get my poles out? So what if it starts raining? So where you put your rain jacket? What if it's cold? How you are going to get in your like insulation layer out, put it on without losing a lot of time. Yeah, I think a pack with like more compartment would help. You have home for each item. Yeah, and I use a Salomon Advanced Skin 12, so which is too small for this, especially for me. I have no crew, no pacer, so I have to carry everything on me during the entire race, like everything jams together. So I think I'm lucky the bag still not blow up at the end of the race. Yeah, because I already see the texture next to the zipper begin to tear during the race. I said, oh, is this going to blow up? Next, I want to talk about crew and pacer. I think in a 100K or 100-mile race, crew and pacer can save you some time and save you some hassle. They can help you prepare the shoe change, maybe pre-fill bottle to give you some like time. But for 200 miler, having crew or pacer can give you a huge advantage over others. They don't. So if you have a crew, having a crew vehicle, the crew can travel through different aid stations, which means you can carry less gear in your bag. So you can only carry the required gear. You don't have to carry spare because you know the crew will have those, and you are not limited to where you need to sleep. You don't have to sleep at a sleep aid station. For example, I was sleeping in the cold crocked metal aid station. Shivering woke me up in the bed. So if you have crew, you can sleep in your crew vehicle, keep the heater on, or just in enclosed clothes. It's much warmer. Really make a big difference. And having a pacer can talk to you, keep you alert. At least I think it's very good for safety. So because in this 200 miler, so I went to some stage I never experienced before mentally. It's like when getting into night 3, night 4, it's just, I was thinking like having different person in me. I don't know, maybe like one person as a central governor, and there is another person responsible for taking in salt, another person responsible for taking in calories, the other person responsible for moving forward, for walking. So like different people talking to each other, and the central government, they may say, okay, you take a jeep, you take a drink, so you walking forward. So it's crazy. I think one part because of the accumulated hypothermia and hyperthermia, the other part is basic sleep deprivation. Yeah, they all causing similar symptoms. So like when I was using a porta potty in aid station, so you look down, so a headlamp seeing the ground, so you see like other people's footprint. I actually seeing like a picture, a cartoon, so like faces or like cars, the cartoon people that are fighting together. It was crazy. So next I want to talk about my plan. So what is my real time during the race? Okay, so this is my original plan as I went into the race. So my goal is really to try to finish in 72 hours. So we all know the result is much different, but this is what I look at the data and I listen to the podcast, the difficulty of the trial. Then yeah, this is the original plan. So basically I marked so what is the up, what's the down for each section, what's the distance. So I'm more used to the metric system. So I use km. So each section the time. So what section the speed? Speed is kilometers per hour, not miles. It's what time I'm estimate to get into that aid station. So what is the rate of perceived exertion? It's also aid station time. So sodium intake, the red part is where I'm planning like going to be during the heat of the day. Yeah, so 3 days. Perfect. So looking at each section speed, it looked to me it's all reasonable. You also have like the fluid intake, each section's calorie intake. So here is the real data, what actually happened during the race. All the red part is my actual data. So basically at the first day, I'm pretty on target and on time. So green church, as I said, where the hypothermia begins, is where I really begin to lose time. Our original plan was at green church 15 minutes. I stayed 1 hour at Green Church. After Green Church, each section take longer than I anticipated. So longest section from Liwanning to Grand Lake took me over 8 hours. So they have a water drop location in between. I want to highlight the aid station time. So my plan was spending 6.5 hours in all the 8 stations, including my sleeping time. So actually, I spent almost 22 hours in 8 stations. I think that's the reality of the 200 miler, honestly. So like Green Church spent 1 hour, Sawmill Meadow, so 1 hour. So Tyler Canyon, so I took a nap there, spent 1.5 hour. And then Croc Meadow sleep aid station where it's really cold, sleep aid station. Hopefully they can make some change next year. If they don't, bring a sleeping bag, bring your own sleeping bag, depending where you get to there. So if you get there during the day, you're probably fine, but you get there at night. So if that's still like this year, bring a sleeping bag. So Crater Mountain is where I get there at 7:45 a.m. Cannot stop shivering. They have to call the medical, hold me there, like to just try to evaluate my situation. So after a while, a couple hours, they released me from that aid station. So Liwanning, it's probably I was more comfortable. So actually I sleep 2 to 3 hours there, so which is great. So I think every minute I spent at Liwanning aid station worth it. It's warm, it's inside. Grand Lake is where I had 3 instant noodles. I didn't realize that's an hour. That's crazy. I feel like 20 minutes, I still feel 20 minutes. I don't think I spent a lot of time there, but actually I spent an hour. So June Mountain, the last sleep aid station, I sleep there for good, probably at least 20-30 minutes. Obsidian Dune is where I know I'm not in a good spot. I had asked another random Mac to go with me. So in your crater, where we are on weather hold because the the storm, yeah, I took another nap there, probably 30 minutes. So that's how much I sleep in aid station. So another thing I want to highlight is the difficulty. So Hillary was on Kevin Goldberg's podcast talking about the difficulty of each section. This is what from their podcast, and this is my rating of the difficulty of each section. I'm not going to do all, but I just want to highlight some section I think is really hard. The first is from Crowley Lake to Green Church. So as I said, most people, it's first night, so most people have fresh legs. You're most likely getting there early morning like me. So I'm a mid-backpacker. It's pretty exposed. It's pretty cold during my race, so I would just rate it 5. The 5 is not how technical the terrain is, it's just the thermal regulation part. If you don't manage well, it's going to harm you for the following of the race. So from Green Church to Sawmill Meadow, if you do it during the day, it's pretty hot, and also it's very long. It's a long section, so 23.3 km, so 15 miles. So it took me 5.5 hours. I ran out of water during this section. As I said, I had to ask other people to help for water. Just try to get to the Sawmill Meadow aid station. It's brutal. Yeah, from Sawmill Meadow to Taylor Canyon, I gave it a 4. It's just because for me, that section was where I ask other runners to help, because I feel I'm having a heat stroke. I feel the dizziness, so I want to run with somebody. I feel a little bit safer. So Taylor Canyon to Croc Meadows, here I give it a 5. It's not the terrain. It's more to, it's night, it's cold, so 2 part. If the restroom is still a quarter mile away from the aid station, and if the sleep setup is still that cold, so you really need to try to manage yourself if you don't have a crew. So bring a sleeping bag, a thicker one. If from Crater Mountain to Liwanning, it's a long section during the day. So I remember, like, I thought we are getting into the town, then we are still not there. We still need to go onto a trail, probably another 3K or 2 miles to the actual aid station. Also, we had a water crossing right before we get into the Liwanning aid station. So Liwanning to Grand Lake, I gave it a 4. It's just because the stage you are in, the distance is the longest section. It does have a water drop location in between. So it took me over 8 hours for this section. So from Grand Lake to June Mountain, I gave it a 5. The reason is if you look at the profile, so you are climbing. So the one part of climbing is you getting on top of the, I don't know which mountain is on top of the mountain. Then you go down. It's very steep, very technical, very hard to feel during that descent. After that descent, you're getting into like a town, getting onto a pavement road. You are going to keep climbing if the daytime under the sun. For me, it's just really hot. So I ran out of water during that section. If not, the guy from Air Vapor Running gave me a big bottle of Gatorade. I don't think I can make it. So I gave this section a 5. So from Dream Mountain to Obsidian Dome, I rated a 4. It's just at this stage of the race, like I get to the Obsidian Dome, mentally I know I need help. So from Obsidian Dome to Yin Crater, I rated a 5. This is the section I remember the most. It's at night. It was raining. I think it rained like at least 3 hours. So you can see the thunderstorm at the front. I just feel it's never ending. It's never ending. By then, my left thigh has a muscle tear, and my right ankle, Achilles hurts, and my mental stage is also not good. So me and Mike, we took a couple dirt nap. So you see the 20K took me over 6 hours. Then like I will always check my watch, like, okay, check my watch, oh, only 100 meters. Oh, check my watch, only 200 meters. It's just never getting into the new Crater aid station. I think the rest, because the distance between those two aid stations, like from New Crater to Mammoth Vista, is short, so it does not take so long to get there. And from there, so we don't have the summit to aid station because they made the reroute of the course. Back then, I know most likely I'm going to finish it, but I honestly don't know for sure I'm going to make it. I was dizzy. I know I was like having hyperthermia before. I think 1K or 500 meter to the finish. I'm still using water to like put water on my head, try to cool down. Yeah, I think that's it. That's some of my 200 mile experience. What I would do differently next time, I would definitely take thermal regulation more seriously, pack more warm gear, prepare for the long distance, so reduce my sodium intake at night, and try to practice more with my pack, with all the gear in. So different situation, what if it rain? What if I get cold? What if I got hot? What if I want to get my headlamp on? What if I want to get my pool in my bag? What if I want to use my phone to check where I am? So basically try to ask more what if questions during my training. So use the race bag to know where those gears are to be more efficient at my gear management. Last but not least, probably add more time to aid stations. So 200 miler are not the same as a 100 miler. Yeah, I was using the way I think of a 100 miler to think the aid station transition at 200 miler. I guess for someone has no crew, no pacer, it's not that reasonable. That's all I have for this video. Hopefully this is helpful for anyone who try to run their first 200 miler or anyone preparing for the Mammoth. So leave a comment below, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.